Malcolm-Jamal Warner's wife just broke her silence, and what she's saying is shaking the whole game up. After years of whispers, shady cover-ups, and silence from the media, she's finally stepping forward. And she's not dropping hints, she's dropping names. This ain't no vague Instagram quote or cryptic message. She's straight up saying who she believes took Malcolm out. And it gets wilder. She claims Malcolm was being threatened before he passed. Real talk, like anonymous messages warning him to back off. He was being followed, watched, even stalked. Somebody with power clearly wanted to shut him up. And now that his wife is ready to speak, it's clear. They're still trying to keep this thing buried. But the real question is, why now? Who's really benefiting from keeping Malcolm's death a mystery? The deeper this goes, the dirtier it gets. And the way she's speaking, this ain't just grief. This is war. According to her, Malcolm didn't just drown. She's saying straight up, he was already gone before he ever hit the ocean. Let that sink in. She's not tiptoeing. She's coming for whoever did this, no matter how high up that ladder they are. Forget what the news told you. She's calling it what it is. A full-blown cover-up. She's got receipts. She's naming threats. She's laying out motives. And from the way she's talking, somebody out there is about to get exposed. What makes this hit even harder? Malcolm protected his family like a vault. No face reveals. No names. He kept his wife and daughter far away from that Hollywood spotlight. But now, even through heartbreak, his wife is keeping that same energy, still anonymous, still private, but finally speaking up. And she's doing it smart. She's controlled, calculated, dead serious. She's making sure Malcolm's truth is finally heard, even if she never shows her face. Because in her words, there's no way he drowned. According to her, Malcolm was a strong swimmer, like trained and confident in the water. He knew how to handle rip currents. So when people say he just panicked and went under, she's not buying it. And here's where it really flips. It's being said that an autopsy was done, and reportedly, there was no water in his lungs. None. If that's true, then guess what? He didn't drown. Not the way they said he did. And that would mean somebody's out here lying. So what really happened before he went into the water? Well, his wife might be suggesting something darker. She believes Malcolm was poisoned with something that couldn't be traced, and that he was dumped in the ocean to make it look like an accident. That way, no one would ask questions. But that raises the biggest question of all. Why would anyone want to silence Malcolm-Jamal Warner? He wasn't a troublemaker. He kept to himself, didn't chase clout, and somehow avoided all the scandal that swirls around Hollywood. He was chill, respectful, and stayed out the drama. So why target him? Turns out, Malcolm might have been speaking out. Not publicly, but behind the scenes. His wife says he was getting more vocal, calling out powerful people in the industry. And the more he spoke, the more uncomfortable they got. And it wasn't just talk. Malcolm had a podcast, Not All Hood, and it was ruffling feathers. He wasn't sugarcoating anything. He talked about the dark side of Hollywood, the hypocrisy, the struggles Black actors face that nobody likes to admit. He called out the gatekeeping, the fake allyship, the real politics behind the scenes. And then, one episode in particular, he went in. Malcolm wasn't just talking, he was challenging the power structure. He was naming patterns, dropping truths, waking people up.
The reason for the title is combating the narrative of Black life, or Black culture that the media focuses on. And
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith.
And let's be real, that kind of honesty, it always comes with consequences. Let's talk facts. The moment Bill Cosby was convicted, The Cosby Show vanished from every screen, wiped clean, like it never existed. But movies from guys like Woody Allen and Roman Polanski, still out there, still streaming, still celebrated, like nothing ever happened. Malcolm didn't bite his tongue about that. He straight up called out the double standard. When it's a Black man, his whole legacy gets burned to the ground. But when it's a white man, suddenly folks want to separate the art from the artist. And that kind of raw honesty, That made Malcolm a threat, especially to the folks who benefit from silence. But he didn't stop there. Malcolm also said some of the chaos inside the Black community was being stirred up on purpose by the very same powerful white execs running Hollywood. According to him, they were low-key instigating beef, stirring up drama, and setting up successful Black men to fight each other.
Community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes, because they're so varied in terms of our perspectives and our opinions and our ways of life, and we wanted to be able to have a place where we can talk about all of those things, discuss all of those things, and shed light on the not all hood aspects of who we are.
All to keep the spotlight off themselves and the money flowing in. Just last year, he even called out that Kendrick versus Drake beef. Said it wasn't just rap games, it was a setup. He said it pushed ego, violence, and division, while the real power players sat back counting their checks. And honestly, that message hit people different. Then came his final podcast episode, and fans knew he was sending signals. He talked about how the media strips Black men of their humanity, labels them, boxes them in, pushes them to the edge just for existing. But then came the line that stopped everybody cold, when he hinted that he was getting ready to expose it all. Looking back, people think Malcolm was trying to warn us. Some even believe he knew something was coming. Now here's where things get even darker. According to his wife, way too much stuff just doesn't add up. And it's exactly why she believes his death wasn't an accident. Not even close. Let's start with the so-called rescue. It supposedly went down on a public beach. Broad daylight, folks around everywhere. But somehow, not a single pic, not one video has ever surfaced from that moment. In 2025, when people pull out their phones over spilled coffee, that's more than strange. It's suspicious. And it gets creepier. A short video clip popped up recently that shows Malcolm walking alone on the beach, right before it all happened. Nobody knows who filmed it. Nobody knows why it was filmed. And it definitely never made the news. Almost like someone was keeping tabs on him. Now, people are wondering, was Malcolm being followed? And then there's the mystery man, the one who was in the water with Malcolm when it all went down. His name? Still unknown. His face? Never shown. And from what we've heard, he walked out the hospital like nothing happened. Even Malcolm's 8-year-old daughter, who was reportedly involved, barely needed medical attention. But Malcolm, he's the only one who didn't make it out. Now tell me, how does that make sense? Malcolm's wife says the autopsy shows no water in his lungs, no sign of a struggle in the ocean, no panic, no fight, which means he didn't drown. At least not the way they're trying to say he did. But here's the part that's even more twisted. Costa Rican authorities ruled it accidental anyway, and yet the full autopsy report still hasn't been released. Not to the public, not even to Malcolm's own family. If this was just a tragic accident, what are they hiding? And here's the final red flag. Why was Malcolm even in that water to begin with? Locals say that beach is dangerous. Red flag warnings were up that day. Lifeguards were barely around. And Malcolm? He was a strong swimmer, cautious by nature, a man who never took risks like that. So why would he, of all people, dive into deadly waters without a second thought? At this point, fans ain't buying the official story anymore. More and more people are saying, Malcolm didn't ignore danger. He never chose to go in that water. The vibe is just too familiar. How many outspoken Black voices have we seen fade out the same way? They speak too loud, challenge the wrong people, and next thing you know, either they disappear from the spotlight or they're gone for good under mysterious circumstances. Now, it's looking like Malcolm might have been next in line on that tragic list. And here's the kicker. His wife says the real reason he went to Costa Rica in the first place? He was being hit with non-stop threats, and he just needed to get away, clear his head, and think. That trip was supposed to be a break, not the end. She's not talking about regular hate mail. According to her, these were serious, anonymous, and untraceable threats. Real ones. She claims Malcolm was getting chilling phone calls telling him to shut up, or his family would pay the price. And this all kicked off right after he started going even harder on his activism, calling out how Black artists were being exploited, sidelined, and silenced in the industry. So now the question is clear. Was Malcolm really just in Costa Rica to relax, or was he running from something way bigger? Because based on what she's saying, every time those calls came through, his entire energy changed. One call was enough to throw him off for days. It was that deep, and that's exactly why, according to her, Malcolm started dropping cryptic clues in his final podcast. He was gearing up to blow the lid off everything, everyone. He was ready to risk it all. But before he could take that step, he was gone. Just like that, drowned or silenced. Now his wife is stepping up, putting it all on the line. She believes that whatever Malcolm uncovered, whatever he was planning to expose, made him a threat, a real one. And when you line it all up, the threats, the sketchy rescue, the missing footage, the sealed autopsy, this doesn't scream accident. It screams cover-up. And if what she's saying is true, then this wasn't just about one man. Whoever did this wasn't just trying to erase Malcolm. They were trying to erase the truth he carried. But here's where they messed up. They thought by taking him out, the story would die too. What they didn't expect? His wife wasn't about to let that happen. She's coming forward with everything. She's not backing down. And now, the whole world's watching. So if you're just now catching up, rewind, take notes, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because this story is far from over. See you on the next one.